And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Onerella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Onerella. Onerella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Onerella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Onerella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Onerella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Onerella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Onerella? She asks. Onerella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Onerella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Onerella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Onerella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, to turn Onerella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a coach drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Onerella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Onerella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Onerella. Onerella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Onerella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Onerella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Onerella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Onerella singing. Onerella said. Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Onerella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed, Andrew's Doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Fourella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. What? Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Fourella. Fourella had 4 ugly, mean stepsisters named Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona made Fourella do all the chores. Sweep the floors. Wash the dishes. Do it all. Said Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona all together. One day, the king and Quadrillihan's messengers said, Hear ye! Hear ye! The king of Quadrillihan is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Forting. But Fourella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fiona. Ophelia said, No way, Fiona! He's going to marry me. Ursula said, Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me. Ramona said, All 3 of you are wrong! He's going to marry me. Later, Fourella is so sad because she can't go to the ball and marry Prince 14, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Fourella? Fourella responds, I got lots of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince 14. Fourella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. Fourella's fairy godmother chants the magic words. Quiddity, quaddity, quaddity, quoo! And waves her magic wand. Because of that, all of Fourella's chores are all done. But Fourella's fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Fourella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Fourella has 4 pumpkins. Fourella's fairy godmother said, and then chants the magic words. Quiddity, quaddity, quaddity, quoo, and waves her magic wand to turn the 4 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 8 strong horses. And then Fourella's clothes into a gathered crowd. Fourella said, I've never seen such a quadtastic gown. And get a lot of my glass slippers, her fairy godmother said. Have fun, mighty dear Fourella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will turn back to the way it was before. Fourella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Fortune was wondering who he should marry. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona said all together, He's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Fourella. Fourella and Prince 14 dance happily together. But later, Fourella realizes it's midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince 14 was so worried that he might never see Fourella again. So he traveled all around Quadrivium to find her. I brought the 2 tiny glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door of the home where Fourella and her stepsisters live, but instead of Fourella, he finds Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona. He then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can anyone try on these glass slippers? Fiona is first, but her feet are too big." Ophelia said, "But her feet are too small." Ursula and Ramona did the same thing, but their feet don't fit either. Suddenly, Prince 14 notices Forella's sweet singing. "The glass slippers fit!" Fourella gets so excited because she's happy to have her Prince 14 back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And if you want to see some sequels, tell your friends about it. And then, take care of your stories. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Tennerella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Tennerella. Tennerella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tina, Elena, and Nina. Tina, Elena, and Nina made Tennerella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all!" said Tina, Elena, and Nina all together. One day, the king of the Cobbleburg's messengers said, Hear ye! The king of the Cobbleburg is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Cobbling." But Tennerella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Tina said, "He's going to marry me." Elena said, "No way, Tina! He's going to marry me." Nina said, "Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me." Later, Tennerella is so sad doing her chores that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Cobbling, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, Tennerella?" Tennerella responds, "I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Cobbling." Tennerella's fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic." So she chants the magic words, "Tintity tantity tantity too," and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Tennerella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "Tennerella, go fetch me a pumpkin." Luckily, Tennerella has 10 pumpkins. Tennerella's fairy godmother chants the magic words, "Tintity tantity tantity too," and waves her magic wand again to turn the 10 pumpkins into a handsome coach by 20 strong horses, and then Tennerella's were closed into a gown and crown. Tennerella said, "I've never seen such a sensational gown. And get a load of my glass slippers." Tennerella's fairy godmother said, "Have fun, Tennerella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before." Tennerella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Tickling was wondering who he should marry. Tina, Alina, and Nina said all together, "He's walking towards me!" But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Tennerella. Tennerella and Prince Tickling dance happily together. But later, Tennerella is almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Decoupling was so worried that he might never see Tennerella again. So he traveled all around Decoupleberg to find her, and brought the 2 tiny glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door of the home of where Tennerella, Tina, Alina, and Nina lived. But instead of Tennerella, he finds Tina, Alina, and Nina. Prince Tickling then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you not find me these 2 glass slippers?" Tina is first, but her foot is too big. Alina is next, but her foot is too small. Nina is last, but her foot isn't the right size either. Suddenly, Prince Decoupling noticed Tennerella's sweet singing. Tennerella then gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Decoupling back. And Prince Decoupling doesn't have to put the 2 glass slippers back on her feet because they're so uncomfortable. And now they've both lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers. If you want to see some sequels, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Andrew does everything, and buy our merchandise, etc. And take care. Bye.